Hello, guys. Welcome back. So the old man's in a pretty good mood today. I know it's Thursday, but Thor and I just get together and spend time together whenever. It doesn't have to be Thursday. I have made sure I said hello and saluted him a couple times today, and he's chill. And he knows his daddy's temple is still an ongoing project, and he's pretty patient. He has Thor Haven's farm built back up. And what I'm trying to do with Odin's Temple is I switched direction. Odin didn't do it. Instead of making it where every god can come in and chill, I'm trying to salute every aspect of the old man. I've already lost my mind and I'm ready to wander off because do you know how hard it is because he's such a diverse deity? This is the All-Father. So literally everything could be attributed to the old man. We don't have a lot of the lore, you know this. And so the old man, maybe because of his charisma or maybe because he's the one that always searches for information, has become the god of a lot of things. Like I would attribute him as the god of the theater because he was the god of poetry, but poetry was sang back then to musical accompaniment. So I'm like, who better to be the god of the theater? And he's the god of creativity and all these other things. Now, you know, a lot of them will overlap because I know people are going to be standing up for Bragi or standing up for Loki. But Odin definitely has this in his wheelhouse. And he's also a god of farming. And we only have like one line here or one line there, and I've asked him about some of the stories, and he just gives you that Odin smile, and he won't say anything. Like, there's this line from one of the stories of him bragging about having pulled the plow. I looked at him, I said, did you do this pole plowing as a horse or a god? And he just smiled at me, because you know he's a shapeshifter. I'm not trying to insult him. He's been an eagle and a snake and a couple other things that we know. So, you know, it's not beyond the realm of possibility that for whatever reason, probably to win a bet and decapitate someone, he turned into a horse and pulled a plow. Because these stories always have a dreadful ending for anybody that isn't Odin. And they actually, you know, they make me laugh. Guys, he will tease me that if I ever want to go for a job application, he knows how to make an opening for a job. I said, you stop that. But we went a visiting today, and I know when he's nudging me because I suddenly want to visit people, and you guys know, kind of antisocial. And I went up my friend's place, the one with the business, around 2, and I could feel him sitting there, and I could feel him paying rapt attention to everything she said. He loves to hear people talk. You know, we were there for over 3 hours, and he's into everything, and you know, the more time I spend with him, the more I wonder if there actually ever were, you know, any, say, demons or something here, because it wouldn't be beyond Odin to play a demon and do it, and then, you know, the fact that I've never really seen Asmodeus and Odin interact much, it makes me wonder, and he's a complex deity. Someone had commented today on a video where I said Odin dumped me, and I had to re-update the information of the video. I read a book by a supposed expert who supposedly knows everything about Odin, that he will dump you at the side of the road and he won't love you anymore. And he's even done this to people in a spousal position or whatever. And I'm like, that does not sound like the old man. And for the longest time, I ignored it. But my problem is when I research, I was taught to absorb all the information because that's what you do when you do research, and then you have to filter it out. But when it's, you know, and that's fine to do when it's a project you're not emotionally invested in, but when it's a god you work with, it's a terrible talent to have. And it got stuck in my craw, and Odin's like, okay, you think I'm going to abandon you? I'm putting on the best floor show ever, and I'm going to make you think you're abandoned. And, you know, he is a capricious god to deal with in the first place. So I don't think the Dagda ever came in. I sometimes think I only have 2 gods. I have Loki and Odin, and they both just have 20 or 30 puppets of all the other gods, and they make them dance every once in a while to convince me of all these gods, but it's just those 2. Because I've noticed if they appear in dreams and get this puffed up pride from Loki, it's always just Odin and always just Loki. Very rarely Freya shows up, you know? I think probably just the Norse gods. I think all the other gods, they cosplay them. They're like, here, put this costume on, keep her happy. So it's been interesting, and we're having this beautiful kind of stormy day, and it's definitely getting colder, and I love it when it gets cold. And he's smiling because, I pointed out human nature. I said, if we didn't put candy out this year for the kids, parents would riot in the streets. It's really not the kids, it's the parents now. And don't get me started on how Halloween has changed from a social gathering to complete strangers just demanding things from you. Don't get me started. Too late. Anyhow, people need to have that open, right? Because they want free stuff for their kids, even though they don't know you. And it would have been stranger danger back in the 80s. We wouldn't have done it. Anyhow, I'm sorry I'm getting off topic. Um, but things like Thanksgiving, so they can skip out on grandma and all the relatives they hate, they can't do that. I'm thinking, wait, you can have little germ factories, also known as children, that are like, they'll sneeze right into their hand and then put it in the candy bowl. You can have those show up at your house, but you don't want to eat Thanksgiving dinner with grandma? Uh-huh. So So we were talking about that too, and Odin laughed. And the Christians I know aren't canceling Thanksgiving. They're like, no, if we have to hand out candy or put up with that devil's holiday, we're having Thanksgiving. And I'm like, oh, free food for me. I'm happy. So he is enjoying himself. I don't know if I told you this take, but I can tell when he's working his influence on someone because she talked for 3 hours. I don't even have to join the conversation. Gave me a soda while I was there. Let me bring home 3 bottles of orange juice. She said, do you like it? Because she has other food she wants to give me too. People like to feed me, which I think is the old man's influence. I've also been told I look perpetually lost. So maybe that's it too. But she gave me 3 bottles of orange juice to bring home. And she gave me the painting. She just gave it to me. I was like, she must want paid for this. No, she was happy. She was tickled. I liked it. And I truly liked it. It's pretty looking. I didn't get it for a goof or anything. I think it's nice, so we'll figure out where to hang it. And he's happy. And I'm the one that's going through the temple, his temple, and trying to make it just for him and try to adjust the color. And we're getting this fantastic blue color I wish you guys could see. I mean, we could take you through it, but not ready to take you through it yet because we had to use stuff that is totally not appropriate for the Allfather. I wouldn't care, and he doesn't care, but I'm like, it's kind of like it's placeholders until sometime in the future we get the right stuff or whatever. And I said, maybe take out all the placeholders, but then the place will look kind of empty. So we're going to try to figure something out. It looks a little strange because, there's this giant, you know how you can blow stuff up. There's this giant Kwanzaa candlestick because you either have to pick between Kwanzaa or Hanukkah. They didn't just give you a normal candelabra. I don't know why. It's either Kwanzaa or Hanukkah. I'm like, neither of these holidays have anything to do with you. Which one do you want? And he's just kind of shrugging. And, because we're trying to symbolize, like, enlightenment or whatever, and the other stuff we have is pretty ugly, and this stuff at least doesn't look quite as terrible. The one that's actually really pretty is the Hanukkah candle holder because it looks like a tree. And I just looked at him and he kind of shrugged. I don't think he'd care. So he may be getting from me, and I'm sure it'll get me hate on the channel. He might end up getting like stuff for Hanukkah because it's made to look pretty. It's made to look like they took a lot of love and care and they did it. It's handcrafted. It looks like wrought silver is what it looks like. It's beautiful looking. It looks like a giant tree. I'm like, that could stand for Yggdrasil too. I'm well aware it's meant for Hanukkah, but Loki has a Hanukkah candelabra on his altar, as you guys have seen. They kind of renamed it. They said fancy lights. It's, the company renamed it so they can sell the same design all year round. So when it's Hanukkah lights. When it's any other time, it's fancy lights. So there you go. So yeah, since the person asked, and I know you guys sometimes feel ambivalent towards the old man, he's doing well. He's doing fine. I got some of those little dancing things. Loki got a unicorn. And Loki likes to collect devil stuff, so he got a devil too. I got, oh! And Odin got It's actually going to end up being a t-shirt, but a t-shirt that has to do with it's horse racing and gambling all in one establishment. So you got that. And like, obviously I'll end up wearing that, but and then there's like a couple Halloween things we got. We still don't have our decorating done because I said, I'm on the fence. I live on a bad road. And I think it's kind of unfair to decorate for Halloween and then not have candy for the kids. But I had to check around to find out if we were even going to have Halloween. Apparently, it's still going to be a thing, at least in this area. But we will probably eventually get them up. I kind of haven't felt it this year. It's kind of been, I guess, with all the craziness going on the road. I felt it a couple days ago. We couldn't wait for Halloween, and then I don't know. It's like I'm indifferent right now. Which, if you knew me, you would be like, oh my god, what's wrong? You not feeling Halloween? How come you don't already have a tent city outside with Halloween actors? We know it's September, but usually by September 1st, I had the whole entire yard decorated and I would spend like 20 hours doing this. I haven't done a thing yet, so it's weird for me. But if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.